Decide for yourself why zero matters. Imagine if every thought, every emotion, every argument, every galaxy were all essentially the same thing, doing one simple trick: splitting in two and then vanishing. Sounds absurd, right? But that's exactly how the late Zen master Joshu Sasaki described the entire universe, as the manifestation of one fundamental activity that he called zero. And no, not the depressing kind of zero. This was the cosmic kind, the fertile nothing from which everything arises, argues with itself, and returns home again. And with this teaching, Sasaki didn't just reimagine Zen, he rewrote its vocabulary. He ditched the old spiritual buzzwords like nirvana and satori and reality, which were often vague, mystical, and too easy to misinterpret. Instead, he offered a clean, universal framework that even a physicist, psychologist, or jazz musician could appreciate. His teaching went like this. Zero inevitably splits into naturally opposing activities, plus and minus or expansion and contraction, which inevitably interact, and just as inevitably disappear back into zero. And in a single sentence, Sasaki presented his activity of zero as the factory floor for all of existence. Zero, not as a void, but as an engine. Everything you've ever experienced, thoughts, feelings, love, war, is the manifestation of zero, inevitably dividing itself, seeing what happens, and when the given activity runs its course, everything dissolves back into stillness. It's not moral, not mystical, just structural, like exhaling after an inhale. And here's the wild part. When you understand this structure, you can actually take advantage of it. Sasaki's teaching of zero doesn't just tell you how things manifest. It hints at how to initiate their arising and how to affect the time until they disappear. Conflict, for example, can be inadvertently stretched out indefinitely when the naturally opposing activities that constitute it remain unbalanced. But when the opposing activities balance and cancel, even conflict must disappear back into zero. And you can see this same principle everywhere. In relationships, politics, even your own mind. The greater the imbalance, the longer activities manifest. But the moment there is equilibrium, they inevitably vanish. And that insight, it's not just for meditation halls. It's for physics, where matter and antimatter continuously appear and annihilate. It's for psychology, where every emotional high carries the seed of its going away. It's for art, where every colour depends on its contrast. Zero is the universal model beneath all of it. Zero is what gives understanding to every thought, every sound, every gesture, every breath, every notion of the self as a separated entity. So why does zero matter? Because it gives you the blueprint for how everything works and how to work with it. Want to extend a moment of peace? Recognize the conditions that give rise to turmoil. Want to end a cycle of stress? Balance the opposing activities that have arisen, plus and minus, and let them naturally collapse back into zero. The teaching isn't about belief, it's as much about mechanics. Joshu Sasaki didn't teach his students to transcend the world. He taught them to understand its structure. Everything you love, hate, crave, and fear is zero doing what zero does, splitting, playing, vanishing. And once you see that clearly, you don't need to escape anything. You just watch the opposing activities dance their dance, knowing they'll soon disappear back into the same zero that started it all.